Mrs. Roton here. I've got another challenge for you today. We're gonna do the compare and contrast challenge. Now, comparing and contrasting is telling how two things are alike or different. So today you're gonna be comparing and contrasting two books. It could be any two books in your house as long as they have a few things in common and you can make a good explanation of how those books are similar. Because I do want you to be able to work with whatever happens to be in your house. I have done 3 different examples for you with 3 different types of pairings. You do not have to use one of these types of pairings. You can use any 2 things that you can connect in your brain. But here are 3 simple types of examples. The first one is 2 books in a series. That's probably the easiest way to go. So I'm using, my family loves the Elephant and Piggy books. So we've got My Friend is Sad, and this one is I Will Surprise My Friend. I chose these 2 mostly because I read you this one earlier in one of my other challenges, so I knew you'd be familiar with at least one of these books. So here we have the Venn diagram I made. Now, we've done these in our class before. This is 2 circles I made by tracing the bottom of a Tupperware bowl, okay? I don't care if your circles are pretty. That's not my concern here. But I made 2 nice round circles by using a Tupperware container. You will see I put the title at the top, My Friend is Sad, I Will Surprise My Friend. And then at the top of each circle, I used abbreviations. You are welcome to write out the name of your books, but I chose to use abbreviations. So MFS is My Friend is Sad, and IWSMF, I Will Surprise My Friend. And then here is both. So in the center, I have the similarities, the things they both have in common, and in the outer circles, I have the differences, the things that are only true about each of these books. Now, these 2 books are in the same series. So one of my similarities is they have the same characters. In the 2 books I chose, in both of these, Gerald does not know where Piggy is. That's another similarity. And at the end of the books, of both stories, the friends are reunited and they get back together. Now, for differences, in My Friend is Sad, there are no thought bubbles. But in I Will Surprise My Friend, almost the entire story is told in thought bubbles. Obviously, it's very windy today. I'm sorry. See? So almost this entire story is told in thought bubbles. So that is a big difference. In My Friend is Sad, Gerald is sad. But in I Will Surprise My Friend, Gerald is really worried. He can't figure out where Piggy is, and he is imagining terrible things happening to Piggy. Let's see if I can find an example real quick. Terrible things. Ah! All right. No thought bubble. Okay. And in My Friend is Sad, Piggy knows where Gerald is the entire time. Okay? But in I Will Surprise My Friend, Piggy doesn't know where Gerald is either. So they are both very confused in that story. So I did 3 similarities and 3 differences for each of them. So there are 9 things on my circles in my Venn diagram, and those are how they're split up. I want yours to have 9 things just like this. It needs to have a title, 3 similarities, 3 differences, 3 differences, and label your circle so I know which one you're talking about. Another example, let me put those heavy books on top of my paper so it doesn't blow away. Another example is 2 different versions of the same story. So for this one, I chose The Brave Little Tailor, this is my book of Brothers Grimm fairy tales. This is a great book. I know I say that about all the books, but they're not all great books, but most of the ones I own happen to be great books. So The Brave Little Tailor is a wonderful folktale, and it was so good that Disney made a version of it about Mickey Mouse called Mickey Meets the Giant. So I compared and contrasted 2 different versions of the same folktale. So let's see. In our so again, look, I've got my nice neat circles. I've got the titles that tell me what books I'm comparing. I've got my 2 circles labeled. Again, I used initials. MMG is Mickey Meets the Giant, and BLT, oh, it's a delicious sandwich, but it's also The Brave Little Tailor. So here in my center of the overlap of my 2 circles, I've got the 3 similarities. So it says, in each of these stories, the tailor fights a giant. A tailor is someone who makes clothes. In each of these stories, the tailor tricks the giant, and in each of these stories, there is a happy ending in which the tailor defeats a giant. In Mickey Meets the Giant, he goes looking for the giant, okay? He decides the giant's a bully, and he goes out to stop him. But in the original story, he finds the giant by accident. He goes to sleep in the giant's cave looking for shelter. And then he wakes up, and the giant's like, something smells delicious. And then he has to fight a giant. In Mickey Meets the Giant, there's no king. The king is a really major character in the original story, and at the end of the story, the tailor ends up married to his daughter, and he becomes a prince, married to a princess. I put 4 differences. That's so good of me. In Brave Little Tailor, he has a nickname. He calls himself 7 with 1 blow because this one time he killed 7 flies with 1 swat. And so that's what he calls himself. He brags about it all the time, but everyone keeps thinking he means he killed 7 giants with 1 blow. And so they're all like, ooh, you're big and bad. And none of that happens in the Mickey Mouse story. And then the Mickey Mouse story takes place in 1 day, and the Brave Little Tailor takes place over several days. And I have one more example for you. But Miss Roton, what if I don't have any books that are the same versions? Miss Roton, what if I don't own any books that are part of a series? That's okay. You can find any 2 books that you can think of something in common about, okay? Frog and Toad and Henry and Mudge, okay? Title, labeled my circles. Ooh, 2 overlapping circles. This is called a Venn diagram. My similarities here in the center, I've got 3 similarities, just like you will. These stories are both about 2 best friends. Sure, that's something they have in common. In both of these books, something is lost and then found. And in both of these books, someone is sad and gets cheered up by a friend. In Frog and Toad, the main characters are amphibians. They're a frog and a toad. In Henry and Mudge, the main characters are a little boy and a very large dog. In Frog and Toad, our friends each have their own houses. They're neighbors, sort of like Piglet and Winnie the Pooh. But in Henry and Mudge, they live in the same house. In fact, they're roommates. They live in the same room. In Frog and Toad, the lost thing is a button. And in Henry and Mudge, the lost thing is a dog. 3 similarities, 3 differences. When you complete this challenge, you will have a Venn diagram consisting of 2 overlapping circles. You will have a title. You will have labeled your circles. You will have 3 similarities and 3 differences for each thing. Got it? Once you have done this, take a picture of it and email it to me, or have your parents post it on Facebook and tag me in it, and I will send you a letter. Can't wait. Bye.